What's going on, guys? I'm SimpleSimon, and in today's video I'm going to show you my top 5 action figures that I've purchased since I started collecting action figures. For those who have been viewing the channel a little longer, you'll know I haven't been collecting action figures for too long. Well, I have, but you might remember I used to be an in-box collector and I only bought action figures here and there. I thought it'd be at least 2 years by now, but I actually checked before. Only 18 months ago I did my first action figure unboxing. So the story goes, a YouTube buddy of mine, Chip Getler, who used to do a lot of Star Wars Black Series unboxings, did a giveaway. I happened to win and he sent me my first Star Wars Black Series figure. And to pay homage to my buddy Chip, I thought I'd unbox the figure for a video, and I instantly fell in love with taking figures out of the box and, you know, playing with the articulation and things like that. So that's how the story goes. And in that short 18 months, I don't have a crazy collection, but I've bought a lot more action figures than the regular person. My Star Wars Black Series collection is probably the most impressive, but I actually haven't bought anything from Black Series for quite some time. But also in that 18 months, I've bought figures from all kinds of different lines like Star Wars Black Series, Marvel Legends, DC Multiverse, and I've also got figures from many different brands like Mezco, Mafex, SH Figure Arts, and I've learnt a lot about the hobby of action figures in that time. So in today's video, I'm going to show you my 5 favorite action figures that I've picked up in that short amount of time. But before I do that, I also want to talk about the worst figures I've picked up. Quick shout out to my Siminions. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you're interested in exclusive members only videos, extended episodes of The Noob, and exclusive emojis, hit the join button to find out more about channel membership. But remember, your membership is not required. The best way to support the channel is by liking and commenting on videos. Alright, so before I start this list, I guess I'll just go through what I'm basing this on. I'm not basing this on a lot. It's not just going to be on how the figure looks or what has the best articulation. It's overall which figure makes me the happiest. But we're going to start from the bottom and I'm going to tell you which figures make me the maddest. So first up on my shit figure list is my Harley Quinn that I picked up from NECA Toys. Now, in the video I first released, I was very unsure whether this figure was real or fake. And in that video, some might remember, the arm broke. Now, just because the arm broke, I didn't automatically write off that it was a fake, just because everything about this figure looked fantastic. The paint on it, the overall face sculpt and everything looked good, but the arm broke. And what I learned was from NECA collectors is that can happen. So also, as far as quality control goes, this figure not only did the arm break, the torso was very loose. Like you can just see I can swivel. Like the torso is pretty much broken, but still, and also some of her tattoo is kind of rubbing off from her vest there, rubbing against it. But look, I ended up gluing the arm back on, which means it basically has no motion anymore. She's lost her elbow bend there, but this figure has to be on the list, being just the amount of issues I had with it. Next on my shit list is my Bruce Lee figure from Diamond Select. This figure was okay from the get-go. The face sculpt wasn't fantastic, but it will do. But I was able to put it in some decent sort of poses and it came with some okay accessories. The reason this is on my list is because that it just hasn't held up over time. So the articulation now is just super loose and a little bit too loose. So I used to have him posed like with a fly kick or with a kick in the air, and over time his leg will just kind of bend back and he constantly falls. So yeah, his legs are just gone way too loose over time, and now all I can really do with him is stand him up on 2 feet. There were many nights where I'd wake up and he'd be on the floor. So Bruce Lee from Diamond Select was definitely on this list of worst figures that I've picked up so far. And then the last worst figure I'm going to talk about is a 2-for-1, and they're both from McFarlane Toys. One is She-Spawn. The biggest issue I have with this figure is it just is not practical in any way. It looks fantastic, but it's just impossible to stand up. In fact, it physically can't without a stand. So for me, and again, I am new to sort of action figures, so maybe I'm wrong, but to me, a figure stand should only be needed if you want to do some sort of dynamic pose. All figures, I think, should be able to stand on their 2 feet. And the problem with She-Spawn is, I don't know if this is really going to show up on this video, her back heel there is so bent that it actually cannot stand upright. So I don't know if every figure was like this or it was just mine, but I have seen this in other images and things, and that heel on the other ones look just as bent. I thought maybe this was damaged or something, but it really is just the curvature on that right heel just doesn't make any sense, and she's just impossible to stand up. In the middle of the night when I hear a random action figure fall off my shelf, it's normally not random, it's normally she spawn. So she's definitely a big pain in my ass. And the other one I thought I'd just mention, which I actually haven't shown in a long form video, is Starfire from DC Multiverse. I actually unboxed this just the other night. I did a short form video of it, and this figure looks so damn good. I was really excited to get this figure out of the box, and it just let me down so much. Her little fire things on her hands, they really don't stay on her, they don't really click into her fist very well. They can, but not very well. Just the slightest bit of movement and they're gonna fall off. My biggest issue with this figure as well is she was impossible to stand, and again, you'll see it's because she's got heels. Now, I'm all for, you know, the ladies having heels, but if they can't stand on them, then it just doesn't make sense. I filmed a short form video and I was able to get her to stand on her 2 feet at first in just a basic pose, but then I tried to get another pose where it wasn't crazy and I just couldn't get her to stand up, and it was almost like, it's almost like the heel is shorter than the flat part of her boot, and it's just not made very well. So yeah, she was impossible to stand up almost, and I had to put her on the shit list. But enough about the bad, let's talk about the good. So I'm gonna show you my top 5 action figures that make me most happy. Again, I'm not basing this on best articulation and things like that. I mean, that'll definitely come into play. It's best overall figure that made me go, wow, that's a great figure, right? That's how this is gonna work. And before I show you two, make sure you leave in the comments if you guys have a favorite action figure. Let me know, and let me know why it's your favorite. So coming in at number 5 is my RoboCop from Mafex Toys. Mafex make great figures. Only got 3 figures so far. This is the only one that I bought brand new. So I just think as far as the look of the figure, it's absolutely amazing. And the articulation, although RoboCop is kind of limited in his articulation, I just find out of all the figures I've got, Mafex just seem to be the smoothest. Now, my other Mafex figures that I do have, like a Gwenpool and the Terminator, them being secondhand, they were a little bit looser. So I do wonder how well Mafex holds up over time. I don't know how old those other 2 figures are, but I do know that this RoboCop is absolutely fantastic, because I almost bought the NECA RoboCop, but because my Terminator figure was from Mafex, I thought getting a RoboCop to go with my Terminator would make sense, so I ended up going for the Mafex RoboCop, but it's an absolutely great figure in every way possible. All right, coming in at number 4 is my Ghost Rider from Marvel Legends. Now, there is a very good chance that this figure only made the list because of its accessory, but it is one of the best accessories I've ever had come with a figure. Danny Ketch and his motorbike is absolutely fantastic. If I just bought this Danny Ketch on his own, there's a very good chance he wouldn't make this list. But with the bike, it just makes me super happy. When you pose him on there, it just looks absolutely badass. The figure's great too. The figure looks great. I love how his mouth, the jaw of his mouth has an articulation, and you can sort of open and close it, although it's not that easy. It's just an overall great figure, and you know, that bike you can use with many other characters. So it's a lot of fun to have. But that would be the only reason I think this figure made it on my list, because yeah, I was so excited to finally get that in my collection, and it did not disappoint once I played around with the bike. It's an absolutely sick figure to have in your collection and on the shelf. So number 3, I'm counting down to the best for this top 5 too. Another figure, and now this is another 2 for 1. It's the Miles and Spider-Gwen from the Into the Spider-Verse animated series from Marvel Legends. I bought these very early on in this action figure journey, and these were absolutely fantastic. And they really set the bar of what I expected from action figures. The reason I rate these figures so highly, and I would say I've only got Miles here, Gwen's back on the shelf. They're just as good as each other, but I'd say Miles wins out because of the limitation on Spider-Gwen. When she's got her mask off with her hair, obviously it stops her head from being able to articulate as well. When she's got her mask on, she's a little bit better. But Miles, just the articulation, I mean, he's basically like a little posable stick figure. I mean, you can see how skinny he is. He decapitates really easily. But just the posability, because he's so thin, and just he's got I mean, he can really just curl up into a little ball. Like, yeah, this figure just really set the bar of what action figures can really do for me. And there haven't been that many Marvel Legend figures that have really been as impressive as this as far as the articulation part goes. You can really get him to do some great poses. So yeah, I had to put that on the list. Great figure overall. And I remember when I first got these, I just dreamt that I could get the SH Figure Arts version of Miles and Gwen. They're obviously 4 times the price, 3 times, 5 times nowadays. But I'm happy with these, and I don't need the, ooh, I want those SH Figure Arts ones. They look just that little bit better. But these, for the price point, just as good, right? So number 2, I'm gonna go with my Eric Draven from The Crow, which was made by Mezco Toys, the 112 Collective range. It's their 6-inch figure range. A lot of you guys know I also have the Warriors figure set 4-pack from Mezco Toys. If I had to give up either this Crow figure or the Warriors one, I'd give up this Crow figure. The reason I've put this on the list and not the Warriors ones is because of it just came with a lot more accessories. The articulations on these are obviously very good. It's got proper soft good clothes, like the jacket's all separate, the shirt even on him is like a proper shirt material, the pants, like you can strip this figure full down and he's just gonna be like a little Barbie doll underneath. So I was really impressed with this Crow figure. The actual, the heads that came on him, like the likeness on the face on these are absolutely ridiculous. Like it doesn't even make sense how they can make such a small figure have such a good face sculpt. And for those who watched the video of me unboxing him, I absolutely freaked out when I found, you are kidding me. Oh my God. Yeah, just the attention to detail in this figure was absolutely insane. It blew my mind. And again, for those who watched that video where I unboxed this, no, I never found Shelly's ring. It's still either lost over there somewhere or it's been vacuumed up. The attention to detail to this figure was absolutely insane. The Crow brings back a lot of nostalgia. It was like a massive favorite of mine as a kid. I watched the movie at the cinemas when I was like 11 or something like that, and it was always one of my favorites. So to have this character, Mezco did just such a great job with this. It had to be in my top 5 figures. So what is the number 1 on my list? Well, they're also a 2-for-1, and they're also figures I didn't make short form videos for. Actually, before I tell you, I'm gonna tell you a story. I actually filmed a long form video of my Ghost Rider with a bike, but I never released that video. I just didn't enjoy that video. After I filmed it, I just wasn't feeling it. I felt like it was very forced, and I actually haven't done a figure unboxing since. I've actually stuck to doing short form versions. In my head, I thought to myself, maybe I'll just stop doing long form action figures. You know, I don't know who's really watching them. So I don't know how many more long form action figure unboxings I'm gonna do. I'm definitely gonna do my Red Hood one, but I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna show you my entire Red Hood action figure collection because they're all in box, because that's how I started collecting action figures. But I'm gonna unbox the new one, but also show you my box collection. That's my plan for it. But yeah, moving forward, I don't know how many more figure unboxings I'm gonna do unless I'm super excited about it. So I'm spewing I didn't do a long form video of these figures I'm about to show you. In the number 1 spot, I've got Ken and Ryu from the recent Street Fighter line from Jada Toys. They are absolutely amazing in every way. And a lot of you guys who watch the channel regularly will know I spoke a lot about them and how I was very skeptical on them. They look great in pictures, but when I had them in hand when they first came out, I just didn't think the face sculpts were that good. I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna jump on this line. I think they might release Street Fighter figures with better faces at some point. Fast forward 6 months and I'm seeing people I know who post photos of these figures, and I'm just like, man, these figures look so fantastic. And some of the poses I've seen, people with their, you know, their toy photography, I'm just like, wow, these figures look amazing. So I jumped on board. I picked up Ryu first, I picked up Ken, now I've also got Chun-Li and Cammy. These two have impressed me the most. I just cannot believe the quality on these figures. Just every single thing about it, from the look, just the way they feel, the articulation is absolutely next level. They've thought of everything. Like I can do like a standing kick on 1 foot pose quite easily without a figure stand on these. The packaging was fantastic. I'm really been obsessed with these Street Fighter figures since I finally got them into my collection and finally opened them up. I just can't believe how good they are. You really need to have one in your collection to really feel how good a quality they are in every way, and even the accessories are great. And like I said, even down to the packaging, I didn't pick up on how good the packaging was until I'd unboxed like 3 or 4 of them. I was like, oh wow, the backgrounds in there for their video game backgrounds in the back of the box and all that sort of stuff, all that cool attention to detail Jada Toys really thought of. You know, I do watch a lot of toy YouTube channels, and a lot of them are just saying this year is going to be a huge year for Jada Toys. So I'm definitely going to have a lot more of these Street Fighter figures coming to my collection. These figures absolutely are mind-blowing. I'm curious to see what some of the other Jada Toy figures are like. I know they did the, what's that, Cyberpunk figures. I don't know if I need Cyberpunk figures in my collection, but I'd love to actually just feel what they feel like and what they can do, because yeah, these Street Fighter figures have absolutely blown me away. Price point wise, for 40 bucks they retail at down here in Australia. That puts some of the more, you know, premium action figure brands to shame if they can do this at that price point. So yeah, so that is my top 5 that I've collected so far. So like I said, it's only been 18 months. At first I thought it was 2 years, but it's only been 18 months. It's been, yeah, it feels like a while, because you know, my collection's, like I said, it's not crazy, but you know, it's grown a lot in the last 18 months. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you guys are action figure guys, let me know in the comments what is the best figure that you've picked up, or maybe just name a few of them and let me know why they're good. If you want more content like this, I'll leave a playlist in the description below to my toys and collectibles playlist, but do check out the channel. I've got all kinds of stuff going on there. If you want to support the channel even further, give this video a like, give it a thumbs down if you want, whatever, any interaction's good interaction. And even though I said I might not be making a lot more action figure unboxings, I still want to do content that is toy related. I'd like to talk about maybe some of my toy grails and things like that. So yeah, got plenty more content to come. Stay tuned, and until next time, I'm SimpleSimon. Tell your friends and keep it simple.